can add a little distraction. Nope. There's that communication we've established. Nope. Just by giving her that verbal, she understands, hey, that's a mistake. Go back to the obedience. Break. She does the right thing. We release her. Go back to play. Good girl. So today we have Red. She's going to be going home shortly from her board and train. She's been with us for about 3 weeks now, a little bit longer than typical for our basic on-leash program, but she's finishing up that, and then we're putting kind of all the pieces together. She's done down, sit, place, doorway manners, heeling, and recall are all the things we've taught her for her stay here. Now we're just kind of putting all those pieces together. We're going to be starting to do a little bit of distraction proofing with her, having her do an obedience command while there's a distraction of the toy, and really just fine-tuning stuff before she goes home later on this week. So we're going to get started with that. Hopefully her owners decide to continue her training because she shows a lot of potential. We can continue what we've built in the foundations with her right here and go on to doing off-leash and then distraction proofing training later on in the future. Those are 2 other separate programs that we offer after the basic on-leash program, but this is where she's at now. This is a pretty good indicator of what a lot of our dogs look like when they finish up the on-leash basic foundations training. So we'll get started with that. Just like anything, we're going to start the dog off, get the dog playing. Girl. And again, night and day difference compared to where she was the first time. Right. Has a go, girl. Girl, girl. Woo-hoo. Getting that dog in the right emotional mindset. Red, place. Place. Good girl. Now she's holding an obedience command. We can add a little distraction. Nope. There's that communication we've established. Nope. Just by giving her that verbal, she understands, hey, that's a mistake. Go back to the obedience. Break. She does the right thing. We release her. Go back to play. Good girl. Yeah. Good girl. Red. Yeah. Woo. From a dog who, when we first got her, the first few days didn't want to play at all, to going after the toy, this is very big for her to be able to accomplish this. Oh, good girl. Oh, come on. Yeah. Oh, you lost it. You lost it. That's it. Girl. When we're doing obedience, I like to get the dog riled up, amped up, chasing the toy, then put the dog in obedience. Then use the toy as that distractor. Nope. Sit. Good. Nope. Nope. Sit. Just trial and error, letting her see what doesn't work. The only thing that should work for the dog is compliance to the obedience. If she tries to cheat, we reset her, give her that penalty. When she does good, break, good girl, she can go after the toy. Good girl. Yeah. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Yeah. Good girl. Red down. Nope. Red down. Good. Right after you give the obedience command, you immediately should freeze up. Be still. The toy gets locked up, stops making movement. If we have to help the dog, she's never done this before, so I'm having to help her with the obedience, use the leash to guide her. If you gotta help the dog, you gotta help the dog. This is very challenging for her. First time she's done it. She's done all this without the distractions, without, nope. Red down. Good. Break. Good girl. That's a good girl. Oh, yeah. Good girl. Yeah. Super. Good girl, Red. Oh, yeah. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Yeah. Super. Woo, we lost it. Red heel. Again, obedience command. Lock up that toy. She's going to comply with that obedience command. Stay in that heel position. Nope. Heel. Red. Break. Good girl. And then once she's released, back to the toy. Good girl. Ah, that's a good girl. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Oh, you lost it. Lost it. Go get it. Red, come. Good girl. That's a good girl. Good girl. Ready? Break. Go get it. Go get it. Good girl. Yeah. That's a good girl. That was a pretty big distraction for her. I like to, when I'm testing a dog, throw the toy, give the dog a recall, see if the dog comes back. I always start it on leash. Because if the dog isn't on leash, they go and get the toy. Now the dog learns to ignore the recall command. Again, a lot of this stuff we're doing here with her. First time she's doing it, usually I save a lot of this stuff for our distraction proofing program. That's the third program in our training. And it's usually reserved for stuff like that, but with her, I wanted to work a little bit on this before she went home, just to give her owners a little something extra. Good girl. Yeah. That's a good girl. Red, place. Place. Nope. A lot of people make a mistake. The dog goes for the toy, they try to steal the toy from the dog. You gotta let the dog have the toy. Mark, let the dog know, hey, you made a mistake. Get the dog to drop the toy. Nope. You do it enough times? Nope. And the dog will pick up on it. You just gotta be consistent with it. Nope. Place. Good girl. Yeah, I know you're ready. You're ready. This is actually a good thing. I love when a dog wants to engage, wants to play with a toy. This is telling me that she's in the right mindset. If she didn't want to go after the toy, if all of her motivation was depleted, and she was like, I don't want the toy anymore, I've done too much. I've squashed her hopes. I always want the dog's hopes to be high enough where the dog's thinking that they're gonna potentially get that toy. Break, good girl, yeah. Because if we squash the dog too much, we can't go into this. We can't use this. I see a lot of trainers, they have dogs that, you know, they're very toy motivated and playful dogs. They'll put the dog in obedience and then try to throw a ball and then correct the dog on such a high level where the dog doesn't want the toy anymore. And it just squashes the dog, and you're taking a huge piece of motivation you can then harness and use to get the dog compliant obedience and just squashing it. So when you do correct the dog, you got to correct them at the right level to teach them, hey, it's not that you're not allowed to have the toy at all, but you got to wait patiently for it. You have to comply with the obedience first to unlock that toy. Especially a dog like her. We had to spend a lot of time to build her up, get her playing. We don't want to squash that. We don't want to undo that. Nope. Great. Sit. Sit. I know, hard for you, huh? Yeah. That's hard. Nope. That's it. Good. Nope. Red. Sit. Working your duration, your distance. You can expect the dog. You always want to expect the dog is going to make a mistake. I always tell people, be ready for your dog to make a mistake. Always assume your dog is going to make a mistake, and they won't. The day you think your dog is going to not make a mistake, that's the day that you're going to mess up. Break the girl. Let's fix you, huh? A lot of people too, with training, they always aim for perfection. They want perfect repetitions, right? Sometimes allowing the dog to make a mistake and resetting the dog is just as valuable, just as important. You have to teach the dog what doesn't work. Because if we only ever show the dog the right answer, but never what the wrong answer looks like, there's always that potential. The dog's always thinking in the back of their mind, what if, right? If we never teach a dog, for example, we get a dog that chases after squirrels, we never teach the dog that chasing after squirrels is a bad idea, we could train some really great obedience for that dog and get that dog listening and doing really great. But the dog's always gonna think in his mind, what if I just go after the squirrels this one day? That window, that potential is still open. So it's good to occasionally let the dog make a mistake. Again, we're not trying to set the dog up to fail, but in the training, if they do make a mistake, they break the obedience prematurely, we accept it. It's not a big deal. It's part of the learning process, and it's important to get a well-rounded dog. Good girl, yeah. That's a good girl. Yeah. Ready? No. Ready? Place. Place. I know you're tired, huh? Good girl. That's a good girl. We'll give you a second, huh? Yeah. If you're not tired and your dog's not tired when you're training, you're probably not training right. If you're not having fun with this, if your dog's not having fun with it, you're probably not doing it right. Training your dog, you should be having fun with it, you should be enjoying it, the dog should be enjoying it, there should be challenges, there should be learning, there should be mistakes, there should be progress. That is all things that you're going to see in a good training session is trial and error. The dog, nope. Red, place. Good. That's a good girl. And in the end, we get dogs like that who At the end of the day, a dog's a dog. They're still gonna make mistakes. But if we develop this communication with the dog, this symbiotic relationship with the dog, where if the dog does make a mistake, because they're not perfect, just like us as humans, they'll make mistakes. But they go to make a mistake, and we've layered in that communication. We can be like, hey, messed up. The dog's like, got it, goes back. That's ideally what we look for in training. That's ideally one of the big things that I focus on in training, that we note, red, place. That, then everything else just falls apart. Red, break, good girl, yeah. That's the other thing too, is that release marker. I want the dog to be enthusiastic when they get released, and the dog knows, right? If she's hesitant, if she's unsure of herself, that means that she doesn't know when she's allowed to bite the toy, but then she also doesn't fully understand the obedience. When a dog shoots out of the obedience position with that enthusiasm, that tells me that she has a lot of mental restraint. If a dog just casually gets out of the obedience command, it means one of two things. Either the dog is unsure of themselves and doesn't know if they're supposed to be out of that obedience command, in which case you gotta work on creating some more clarity with the dog. Or two, the dog doesn't really understand what they're supposed to do in that obedience command in the first place. They don't understand that this is obedience. There's something over there that I want, but in order to get what I want, I have to do this. When the dog shoots out of obedience, that tells me that the dog understands. There's something over there I want. I can't get it until I hear that word. Until then, I have to do the obedience. That's what we're looking for with a lot of this training that we're doing with dogs. Good girl. Just like any good training session, when the dog's tired and done, we like to just spend a few minutes, enjoy company with them, relax with them, really let them know that we're here for them. It's more than just training the dog and teaching the dog behaviors. It's establishing a relationship between you and your dog. Or if dog's coming to us for a board and train, it's a relationship between us and the dog. And then our goal is to then transfer that relationship, the skills, the communication, all those pieces onto the owners when she goes back home. And then if she comes back for another board and train, or if her owners decide to continue her training with the other programs via private lessons, we're able to pick off right where we left off, right? This is where she's at a pretty good foundation for on-leash stuff. All the on-leash obedience that I look for in the beginning, it's all taught on leash. The dog's still gonna make mistakes, which is why we still have the dog on leash, because we have to be able to enforce the obedience and put the dog in the obedience if it's too challenging. If we're presenting them with something that's a little too difficult, we have to be there to use that leash. So with on leash, until the dog is ready, we like to keep the dog on leash, and then when we transition them off leash, then, you know, with the off leash skills that we provide them, they can be off leash and do all the same stuff off leash. And then after that, then it's distraction proofing. Then we really get into distractions, go to more public places, and really challenge the dog, push the dog's limits when it comes to distractions. But she's at a pretty good place compared to where she got here for the short few weeks we've had her. So I'm looking forward to future training with her and continuing her progress. But she's about to be going home a few more days. We'll keep doing some more stuff like this with her, and then she'll go home to her owners. Huh? Oh, Greg, that's a good girl. I know. You're no mouthy. Oh, no mouthy. You ready? You ready? Shh.